We've been working on the front of Jigsaw for a while now, but I think it's time for that to change.
So we're going to start working on the rear clamshell for the car to make sure that the design flows well from front to back. The first step in building a clamshell like this is we need a skeleton of aluminum tubing. You can see a little bit peeking out there.
If you're new here, we're doing a style called supercar, which means we're taking aluminum tubing, making a skeleton, and then skinning it with aluminum. So it's ultra lightweight and strong. We're essentially making a unibody for the body.
The basic structure is made out of this tubing. This is 6061 aluminum, which is way too hard to bend, so we're going to anneal it first. It's a heat treatment process that will allow us to bend it into the shape that we need. This Sharpie ink will burn off the surface of the tubing at the right temperature, so this is an easy way to know that I have done exactly what I'm trying to do.
You're making a candy cane.
I am.
You're making like Wish App candy canes.
Yep.
Another way you can do this is with an acetylene torch. You can use the gas, like the soot. If you soot the tubing with acetylene, it'll also burn off as well. However, I found for myself, if I try to do that, I often will overheat the tube because I put too much soot on. So months ago, we 3D scanned the clay model through in the Fusion, and then I made these templates. Those templates we use for what we call the reticulated vessel method, which we'll go into later in this video. But right now, what's important is we need to do the same thing for the rear of the car. I've already gone ahead and made the rear ones. What's left to do is I need to add the holes so we can zip tie the tubes to it, and then we're gonna cut them out in the plasma cutter. Tony forgot to turn his mic on for his explainer, so don't mind me.
Brian was way too willing to come over here and turn it on for me. What we're trying to do here is heat up this tubing, but we don't want to burn the surface of the aluminum, so we're trying to keep the torch moving. If it starts to turn yellow, then we know that we burned it. And I'm not focusing on the Sharpie, so the idea is to make the Sharpie disappear. When all of the aluminum gets to the right temperature, those Sharpie lines will just dissolve. Slow and steady, that's the idea here.
The problem with it being so humid and hot lately, all the water evaporated out of our table. I probably should refill that before we cut all these and it becomes gross. Having water/coolant mix on a plasma table is very important for two things. So one, it catches a lot of the smoke when you're cutting, so it kind of saves your lungs. And two, it acts as a coolant for the panel itself. Because what happens is if you're cutting, especially thin material, the panel heats up, it expands, and then it cuts a little weird. The only thing I don't like about it is that it splashes on the other side of any panels laying on top of here, meaning that if you say leave metal on this, which I do often because I'm irresponsible, it rusts the backside of it. So pros and cons, but the pros definitely outweigh the cons. This isn't gonna work. Tony.
What?
I have a problem. So the back of the car,
yep,
because we have like all this stuff up here going on.
Right.
The one panel is too big to cut on the plasma cutter.
Okay.
So I think the only way we can do is if we cut it down and have to weld it together. Is that okay with you? Because I'm
always okay with the thing that works. So let's do that.
That's why he hates me so much. So I think though, two of the files are not as tall because of the rear end of the car, and actually they're pretty short. So I should be able to fit them on the table, I think. We'll find out in a minute. So you can see this panel's a lot smaller. And if I frame it on the machine, so it's from this corner back here to right here, yeah, we're gonna fit. So this will work. I think it's just the one file needs adjusted. So this is the Eastwood VersaCut 4x4 plasma table. I love this machine. I've had no problems with it. You can get one from Eastwood for 10% off with our code CRAWS, or anything on the website for 10% off with that code. Tony has this nice clean cardboard here, so I'm gonna lay this on it. Let it dry off the coolant on the backside. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. So currently I'm about 1,000 millimeters is what I can safely cut height-wise. And we have 1,100 there. So I need to shave off 100 off the top. Cutting tool, boop. Now we have that one and that one. So now we have 4 pieces to cut instead of 2. Yay. I'm gonna predict now, Tony's gonna say, why did you cut it across up here? We can cut across down here and have a shorter weld. And I'm gonna say, I know that, but I'm too lazy to redo it again. This is a Wendy's. Hey, it's kind of warm.
You still working on that?
Yeah, I had to recut stuff, remember?
Well,
I know you've been over there just sitting there torching.
Just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go over there and squat for 4 hours.
Houston Triactin?
Nope.
You sure?
Nope. I make the stuff, buddy.
I find that like statement to be a little concerning, honestly. So this one coincides with that square. See, look, Tony, I cut it down so it fits. The one piece.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you have any thoughts about where I chose to cut that?
No.
Oh,
Should
wow.
I?
That's good. No, we're good. I was saying that you were going to call me out on the fact I should have just done here so it's less welding.
Oh, yeah, that would have been better. While yes, it would have been less welding, this will do a better job of preserving that shape.
Preserving the shape. That's the other reason why. That's totally the other reason why, not because I just was too lazy to recut it.
You're not justifying what you did, right? You're just, this is the actual reason. Yeah, yeah.
I've gone over it before, but whenever you weld, the weld shrinks when it cools, and it pulls together and causes the panel not to lay flat. So, got a couple tacks here. I'm just gonna stretch them back out. There you go. Look, now it lays nice and flat. Problem solved. This video has been paid for and sponsored by Drift. Drift creates air care products for your car and your home. All of the materials that they use are sustainable, and their scents are made with natural, essential, and fragrance oils. And their car products range from $9 to $15, so they're super affordable. We take the slant nose on long road trips typically, and it has no AC, so as you can imagine, it's a little stank. Drift sent us their summer spritz scent. It smells so good, and I cannot smell the stank. Drift recommends that you replace these air fresheners once every 30 days, but what's great is Drift offers a monthly subscription, so once a month you get a new scent. What's nice about the subscription, when you get a scent every month, it's different. So you don't have what's called nose blindness, which is where you use the same scent every single time, and then you're just not aware of it anymore. So now when you get in your car, it smells fresh every time. These scents are inspired by the seasons and the memories and emotions that are attached to them. The subscription is also very flexible. You can change your scent choice, your delivery frequency, and cancel anytime. Make sure to use my coupon code Coachworks for 55% off at Drift. That's less than $5 for your first month. Thanks Drift for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to check out the link in the description down below. Is it lunchtime yet? I'm hungry. I guess the next step here is to see if our pieces actually fit into our reticulated vessel jig. I'm helping.
There you go.
So we have our center line. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our steel templates we just made, we're gonna lay them on here, gonna flip them so it's the full profile, and then we're gonna use it as a guide to bend our aluminum tubing. It's a pretty tried and true method that worked on the front, so I think this time's gonna go a lot faster than we did the front because we learned a lot, and knowing is half the battle apparently. That's what your generation says anyway.
G.I. Joe told us so.
The TV never lies. I don't care, you pick.
We gotta do them all. If I'm picking the one that's right by me.
That's the one I wanted them to pick. That's why I walked to this side, so you picked that one.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm tired. Had a spin class last night. My legs are sore, my arms are sore. My soul is not sore.
Did you take your triactin this morning?
You want to come to spin class with me sometime? It's a great time. I'm just the designated, let's get it girls, ... and Ryan. Garfield is now assembled on the table. I think he's looking pretty good. So now what we need to do, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, we need to weld them together. I feel like I'm talking to you guys like it's just a Sesame Street episode. Anyway, so we're gonna weld this together. I'm gonna burn up some of the cardboard on the table, and then we'll have one major hoop done, which I think is the hardest hoop. So it should be easy sailing after this. Look at that. It's Garfield's head. Is that hole still burning?
No.
How many layers did we go through?
Just 2.
This is a little bit wider than the spacing of our tubing. I think what happened was when I 3D scanned it, the tubing location in the 3D space got a little bit off.
We could have maybe avoided this with a measurement, but
yeah, and probably what I should have
scan.
done too is take some tape, like wide tape, and tape, like made lines down just to help it locate when I scanned. Live and learn. But for now, I think we just move forward to the other pieces and we'll come back to this because that's a problem for future us, and screw that guy. Right there. This piece has to be a U, and it's really hard to bend this stuff without it like being like too short or too long in the center, so we're gonna see how this goes. I love a challenge. What if the Dark Ages actually were the good old days, so we just didn't know it?
I don't think they called them the Dark Ages when they were in them.
But like during the Dark Ages, what do they call it? They're just like, yep, this is another day. In this video, you just watch two dudes bend some tubes for an entire day. This takes a long time. Like a hot knife through butter. What were we just talking about, Tony?
It's my whole new system, Goldilocks mindset.
What's that?
You don't overthink it, you don't underthink it, you just right think it.
So we were just saying, if you overthink it and try to make it too perfect, you're gonna be here all day. And we ain't got time for that, nor will it really matter in the end product. But if you underdo it, we're gonna be redoing stuff.
So Goldilocks it.
Yep, it's got Goldilocks it. It's just sweat in the capsule, tracting. That's gross, man. I don't like that.
No one makes me drink my own sweat.
I messed up. I dipped my tungsten.
Oh boy.
It's very glowy. It's the fan blowing my argon away.
I'm gonna throw this at him.
What is? Yeah. Like blow smoke rings with it. It smells like when you start a campfire with the wrong materials. You've been there, right?
I guess.
He's lying. He's definitely been there. We've all been there.
It lands almost exactly approximately
Dead
right
center
on
of
that wig nut. So
almost exactly, approximately.
that was intentional.
That's a Ryanism right there.
Yep,
for
that was intentional.
We're gonna have problems with the coolant tank, so we can go behind that for now just to see, but
Maybe that's why we only zip tied it in place.
that's exactly why.
So our last piece is basically one big oval, and we were talking about the best way to skin this cat. Probably gonna be easiest to do this in 4 pieces, quadrants, because then that gives us some latitude to get this curve exactly where we want it in this one, and then we can just trim it, and it doesn't take very long to weld it.
And I like burning holes in the cardboard, so.
Yeah.
That's the real reason I'm
and
lobbying
this
for
area
this.
is burn free, so Ryan is itching to get at it.
For reference, these are our cut lines. You can see that flare piece and how it matches up to the cardboard. This is so cool. I love it. Dump it. You shall not pass.
That was a nice sound right there.
I think I just cast a spell.
You're a wizard, Ryan.
Did you see that? It's a new day today, and Tony woke up less grumpy.
Yep.
Should get everything flat. We got all these little stubs here. And I got Rasputin over here. Look at this beautiful U I made.
So did I.
Now that's just wrong.
Oh wait, here. Now it's a beautiful U.
Like, I made a better U.
Where's his ears? Where's her ears?
It's a very, very beautiful U that doesn't have ears because there's so much fluff that's hidden.
Oh boy. see if I can. I'm just helping you out there, buddy.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I feel like this whole getup is a vibe right now. Tony won't admit it, but he asked me for help on his tube. Then he walked away.
Yeah.
He's doing other stuff, but he's back now.
Yeah, well.
But I managed to fix his tube while being harassed and chased around the room, so. The tables have turned.
I usually would prefer to struggle with something than ask for help, but I want to get this car done, and I know you want it too, so.
Yep, it's true.
So I'm going to try and work out the changes we need to make to this hoop so that it will fit around our roll bar, but does not affect the outside shape in a way that we didn't intend.
Woohoo! All right. Tubing is all done. All 3 major hoops. Tony's adjusting the front one that's a little off. While he's doing that, I'm gonna get the metal patterns into the jig. We're gonna get these zip tied in place, and then I'll explain the next step when we get there. The age of man is over. The time of the zip tie is now. So if you're new here, this is a method we came up with that we call the reticulated vessel method. Similar to using like a buck, it's a little bit better because you actually use the buck. The concept here is we plasma cut these steel templates out, and then we bent tubing that fits inside the steel templates, and then we zip tied the tubing to the templates via the holes we have. And then we have this wooden jig that spaces our templates out the way that they are on the CAD program. So now it suspends it exactly where it's going to be in relation to each other. So once Tony's done with the final tube and we have all 3 here, we can connect the dots with pieces of aluminum between, and then we have like a wireframe of what the car is going to look like, but it's permanently staying on the car. And additionally, this car is a one-off. So for the one-off application, this method works great because now you don't have a buck for a car that you're never gonna build again.
So simply put, we just cut it apart, shortened this tube, moved everything together, and then we just got to fill in the gap with these tiny little guys, and we'll be back on track.
Now we're ready to begin latticing. Look at that, that's so sick. Also, to note, it's currently upside down. It's gonna be that way. Tony's already been working on the cross sections here. Bam.
Like that?
Now you can kind of see how this works. Look at that.
There we go, tied together.
Is it ready to weld?
Yeah.
All right. So we forgot that we didn't use zip ties last time because they melt. We use safety wire. So we're gonna swap that out quick. That's my bad. So we're gonna use a profile gauge here to figure out this sweep through because there's a lot of shape to it and we want to get it right. So we're gonna mark that and then I'm gonna tighten these knobs down, and then Tony can use it as a reference while he's bending his tube. This is the back of the car,
Okay.
just so you know.
Yeah, because we always draw the arrows to the back of the car. Good idea. Went a little too far. Did you burn through the tubing or what?
I guess so. I was just welding and then suddenly I was no longer welding.
And that was a piece that was solid across the middle. It
I know.
It wasn't
I thought
like
it was
this
safe.
one.
It just went boop. It's always something, man.
So we'll run these pieces across here.
Yeah.
And then we can flip it around in our jig. We'll get that straightened out.
Can you just like lift up on this and I'll heat this up again, at least to try to like get it like kind of close? Go ahead.
That looks nice, buddy.
Yeah, it does. This is moving a lot quicker than it did in the front end. We were like 3 episodes into this point. I think the last time we did this. So this side is now attached. We have 2 stakes through, and the main hoops are all aligned. We have this side to contend with. This side is free floating, which doesn't make it very accurate if we were to weld the tubing through it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna remove all our zip ties and safety wire. We're gonna reset the jig, flip it around, re-zip tie / safety wire it back in, and then we can weld the tubing in and it'll be precise. So now it's gonna go this way. Pull this one out. It's gonna go over here. This is quite the ingenious invention we came up with. This is how far off we got, just because that tubing melted and caused issues. This is why we have this jig. If anything moves, well, we can see what we gotta do. Is that it?
Yep.
Let's just kind of roll it out. I don't want to touch that spot there. Ha ha ha! That's really hot on this side. So there you have it. We got a lot done this week.
It's just crazy how much this little bit of skeleton makes this really start to materialize.
I know, you can actually stand back and look at the car and see front to back and everything, a little bit how it's gonna look. This tubing needs some slight minor tweaks to sit exactly where we want it to go. So we're gonna work on that next week, and we're also gonna continue past that and hopefully get this thing mounted. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That's the goal for next week. So check back next week for that.
Thanks for hanging out in the shop with us.